I was replacing the brake pads on my truck when Simone told me she wanted a divorce. Her heels clicked across the garage concrete. Sharp, deliberate, the sound of a woman who'd rehearsed this moment. "We need to talk," she said. I slid out from under the F-150, wiping grease on a rag that used to be a t-shirt. "Hand me that socket wrench." She didn't move. "David, I'm serious." "So am I." "This wrench." She picked it up like it might contaminate her. $50 manicure, cream-colored suit that probably cost $300. She had a meeting later. Always a meeting. "I want a divorce," she said. I took the wrench. Fitted it to the bolt. "Okay. That's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say?" She stopped. "Recalibrate it. I've met someone. Someone who appreciates me. Who sees my value. Good for you." The bolt came loose. I moved to the next wheel. "His name is Marcus. Marcus Lavelle. He's my boss, the regional VP. He's sophisticated. Successful. He's taking me to Paris next month." "Sounds nice." "David." Her voice sharpened. "Do you even care?" I looked up at her then. Really looked. Simone Baptiste. Now Simone Brennan for another few weeks, I guessed, standing in my garage like she was doing me a favor. We'd met 7 years ago at a community center fundraiser. She was in marketing for a tech startup, hungry and brilliant. I was 30, wearing the only sport coat I owned, drinking cheap wine and wondering why my uncle had insisted I come. She'd laughed at something I said. We were married 18 months later at her parents' church in Evanston. 160 guests. Her father gave a toast about how she'd married down but loved up. Everyone laughed. I smiled and drank my champagne and said nothing. I kept saying nothing for 7 years. I drove my truck, wore Dickies and work boots, packed lunch in a cooler. She drove a leased Audi Q5, $680 a month, complained about the payment every month, but loved how it looked in the company parking lot. We lived in a 3-bedroom bungalow on the north side, 1,500 square feet. She told her friends we were saving for something bigger. The house was paid for. I'd bought it for $185,000 cash 6 months before we met. She never asked how. "I care," I said, turning back to the brake pad. "I care that you're happy. Stop being so." She gestured at me. "So calm. So accepting. Fight for me, David. Show me you give a damn. You just told me you're leaving me for your boss. What do you want me to fight for?" "For us. For our marriage. You already ended it. Marcus in Paris, remember?" She stared at me. I saw the exact moment she realized I wasn't going to beg. Her jaw tightened. "Fine," she said. "I'll have my lawyer send the papers. I want the house." "Okay. And half of everything. Your retirement. Savings. All of it. We'll see what the law says." "The law says I'm entitled to half. 7 years of marriage, David. 7 years I could have spent with someone on my level." I set down the wrench. Stood up. Wiped my hands. "Your level. You know what I mean." "Yeah, I do." She left. The Audi reversed fast, tire squealing. I went back to work. Let me rewind to the part that matters. My name is David Brennan. I'm 37 years old. I restore commercial properties, factories, warehouses, old retail spaces that developers buy and don't know what to do with. I make them functional again. Structural work, mostly. The bones. What Simone never knew, I don't just restore them. I own them. 14 properties across northern Illinois. Total value, $11.2 million. Annual rental income, $340,000, not counting my consulting fees. My grandfather started Brennan Holdings in 1965. Bought industrial buildings when Chicago was hemorrhaging manufacturing jobs and nobody wanted the real estate. Held them. Converted them. Died when I was 28 and left me everything. One condition in the will, tell no one for 10 years. He wanted me to see who'd stay when they thought I was nothing. Simone stayed. But I watched her embarrassment grow. The way she'd change. The subject when people asked what I did. The construction, with air quotes. The jokes about my truck. The subtle distance that widened every year like a crack in a foundation. 6 months ago, she started working late. A lot. New perfume. New attention to her appearance. I didn't ask questions. I observed. Marcus Lavelle. Regional VP of Sales for Techmark Solutions. 6'3", Yale MBA, drove a Tesla. I looked him up after Simone mentioned him the 3rd time. Found his LinkedIn. His corporate bio. Found something else too. Techmark Solutions leased their office space, 20,000 square feet in a converted printing plant in Schaumburg. From me. I owned the building. Through Brennan Holdings. Marcus worked in a building I'd personally renovated in 2019. He sent rent checks to my property manager every month. $38,000. Never late. I'd met him once, actually. 2 years ago during a roof inspection. He'd been pleasant. Professional. Shook my hand. Probably thought I was the maintenance guy. Now he was sleeping with my wife and planning Paris. I finished the brake job. Washed my hands with the pumice soap that never quite gets all the grease out. Made coffee in the percolator my grandfather left me along with everything else. My phone buzzed. Text from Simone. Lawyer's name is Rebecca Foss. Expect papers this week. Please don't make this difficult. I texted back. Won't be difficult. Then I called my own lawyer. James Chun. Known him for 12 years. $500 an hour. Worth every cent it's time. I said. You're sure? She's leaving me for Marcus Lavelle. Silence. Then, the Techmark VP? The guy who leases from you. That's the one. James laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, David. This is going to be interesting. I want her to find out the right way. Legally or poetically? Both. Outside, April rain started, soft against the garage roof I'd replaced myself last summer. $1,600 in materials. 2 weekends of work. Simone never noticed that either. The papers arrived on a Thursday. Simone had moved out 2 days earlier. Took her clothes, her jewelry, the expensive espresso machine her mother bought us that I'd never used. Left the furniture. Left me. Texted from what I assumed was Marcus's place. This is better for both of us. You'll see. I signed the papers at my kitchen table. The one I'd built from reclaimed wood pulled out of a demolished factory. Simone always said it looked rustic. She meant cheap. Rebecca Foss had been thorough. Demanded half of all marital assets. Half the house value. She'd estimated $240,000, which meant she thought there was a mortgage. Half my retirement accounts. Half my business income, which she'd calculated based on my consulting invoices. She had no idea about Brennan Holdings. I called James. She filed. I saw. She's asking for $340,000 total settlement. Plus the house. Counteroffer. We disclose everything. Full asset list. All 14 properties. The holding company. Every bank statement going back 10 years. When? I'll file tomorrow. Discovery starts immediately. She'll have the documentation by Monday. One more thing, I said. Techmark's lease is up for renewal in June. You're not. I'm not doing anything illegal. But Marcus should know who his landlord is. Professional courtesy. James was quiet. You want me to send the renewal paperwork directly to him? Instead of through their corporate office? With my signature. Owner to tenant. Standard procedure. David, that's cold. That's business. I hung up. Made dinner. Grilled chicken, roasted vegetables. The kind of simple meal Simone used to photograph for Instagram before she decided it wasn't sophisticated enough for her feed. Ate alone. Watched the Bulls game. Slept fine. Monday morning, my phone started ringing at 6:47 a.m. Simone. Declined. Again. Declined. Text. Call me right now. Another. This is insane. Your lawyer sent fake documents. Another. There's no way. No way. I was at a job site in Aurora, consulting on a warehouse conversion. Poured my coffee from the thermos. Let the phone buzz itself quiet. She showed up at noon. I was on the second floor, examining water damage in the ceiling joists when I heard her voice echoing through the empty space. David, I know you're here. Your truck's outside. I climbed down. She was standing in the middle of the floor, still in work clothes but disheveled. Hair messed up. Makeup smudged. She was holding papers. $11 million, she said. Your lawyer claims you're worth $11 million. 11.2. Market's been good. This is fraud. This is, you can't, she was shaking. You drove a fucking pickup truck. You packed lunch in a cooler. Still do. You let me think we were broke. That we were struggling. We weren't struggling. You were. I was fine. I worked 60-hour weeks. I budgeted every dollar. I drove a leased car because I thought we couldn't afford to buy. I never told you to do any of that. She stared at me like I was speaking another language. You lied. I never lied. You never asked. You saw the truck in the work boots and decided you knew everything. That's not my fault. This is manipulative. This is, she looked at the papers again. Brennan Holdings. You own 14 buildings. 17 now. Bought 3 more last year. Marcus's office is mine. Yeah, the whole building. I renovated it in 2019. His company sends me $38,000 a month. Never late. Very responsible tenant. The color drained from her face. He doesn't know. Not yet. Lease renewal goes out this week. I sign all of those personally. Professional touch. You can't what? Conduct normal business with my tenant? That's what he is, Simone. That's all he is. This is revenge. This is paperwork. I turned back to the joists. Started taking measurements. She followed me. David, please. We can fix this. Counseling. Starting over. I made a mistake. You made a choice. I didn't know what? That I was worth staying for? That's the point. I marked a beam. You stayed when you thought I was nobody. I appreciate that. But you only stayed because you didn't think you could do better. The second you found someone you thought was an upgrade, you were gone. That's not fair. Marcus drives a Tesla, I said. Leased. $1,200 a month. Makes $240,000 a year. Good salary. He's leveraged to his eyeballs. The Tesla, the condo he lives in, the watch he wears. I looked him up. Public records. He's got about $40,000 in actual savings. Why would you? Because I'm thorough. Same reason my buildings don't fall down. Simone sat down on a sawhorse. Put her head in her hands. What do you want from me? Nothing. That's what you don't get. I don't want anything. You can have what you brought in. Your 401k, your savings, your car if you can keep making payments. Everything else was mine before you. Illinois law is clear. I get nothing. After 7 years. You get what you earned. About $63,000. Plus whatever Marcus wants to give you when he finds out his girlfriend's ex-husband owns his office building and could make his professional life very interesting. She looked up. You wouldn't. I won't have to. You think Marcus is going to want this complication? His company's lease is up in June. Renewal negotiations are delicate. If his boss finds out he's dating the ex-wife of their landlord, the landlord who could jack their rent or decline to renew. I shrugged. Corporate politics are messy. This is evil. This is real estate. I packed up my measuring tape. You wanted someone sophisticated. Someone on your level. You got him. Enjoy Paris. David, you need to leave. This is a job site. Liability issues. She stood up. Walked toward the door. Turned back. I loved you. No, I said. You loved that I was safe. That I didn't challenge you or expect you to see me. You loved how easy I was to ignore. Her face crumpled. She left. I went back to work. That evening, James called. Simone's lawyer requested mediation. No. She's willing to drop the house claim. Just wants a settlement. She suggested $100,000. What does the law say she gets? What she came in with? Maybe $70,000 if we're generous with asset appreciation. Then that's what she gets. David, you could give her more. Make this easier. Why? He didn't have an answer. I didn't need one. The lease renewal letter went out on a Tuesday. Standard format, professional language. Signed personally by me, David Brennan, owner, Brennan Holdings LLC. Marcus called at 2:34 p.m. I let it go to voicemail. Mr. Brennan, this is Marcus Lavelle, VP of Sales at Techmark Solutions. I received the lease renewal documentation. I wasn't aware you were the property owner. I'd like to discuss terms at your earliest convenience. Please call me back. His voice was steady, professional, but I heard the tension underneath. I didn't call back. James handled the divorce proceedings. Simone's lawyer tried 3 more mediation attempts. Offered to settle for $75,000. Then $70,000. Then just what the law required if I'd expedite the timeline. I expedited nothing. The divorce finalized in late August. Simone got her $63,000. Her 401k. Her Audi lease with 11 months of payments remaining. I kept everything else. The house. The properties. The quiet life I'd built while she was too busy being embarrassed by me to notice what I'd actually done. I saw her once more accidentally. September. Outside a coffee shop in Evanston. She was alone. Different hair again. Looked tired. She saw me. Hesitated. Crossed the street. David. Simone. How are you? Fine. You. She stopped. Marcus and I aren't together anymore. Sorry to hear that. His company didn't renew the lease. They moved to a building in Naperville. His boss found out about us, about the connection to you. It became complicated. Real estate usually is. You knew that would happen. I knew it might. She looked at me. Do you feel better? Now that you've won. I didn't win anything. I just kept what was mine. That's not. She shook her head. You're different. No, I'm exactly the same. You're just seeing me now. Because I have to. Yeah. She walked away. I went into the coffee shop, ordered dark roast, no sugar, sat by the window, watched the city move around me. All those people rushing somewhere, needing somewhere to be important. I pulled out my phone, checked email. Patricia Voss, the developer I'd worked with on the firehouse conversion, had sent plans for a new project. 8-story former hotel in Pilsen. Gut renovation. Asking if I was interested in consulting and possibly buying in as a partner. I was interested. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. This is Marcus. I know this is inappropriate, but I need to say something. Simone told me everything. About the properties. The money. How you lived. I understand why you did what you did. I would have done the same. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. You seem like a decent man. She never saw that. I stared at it for a long time. Typed. The building's available if Techmark wants to come back. I'm a fair landlord. Business is business. His response came fast. I appreciate that. I'm not with the company anymore. They let me go. Conflict of interest. But thank you. I put the phone away. Drove to the warehouse in Aurora. The renovation was nearly finished. New support beams, prepared foundation, roof that would last another 50 years. The owner was converting it to artist studios. 20 units. I'd done the structural work for $180,000. Worth every penny. I walked through the space. Ran my hand along a beam I'd set myself. Solid. Level. True. My phone rang. James. The divorce is officially final, he said. Court processed the last documents. You're done. Good. How do you feel? I looked around the warehouse. Afternoon light coming through windows I'd replaced. 4 joists I'd reinforced. Work nobody would ever see, but that mattered anyway. I feel like I'd built something that lasted, I said. That night, I went home to the bungalow. My bungalow. Made dinner. Chicken and rice. Simple. Good. Ate at the kitchen table I'd built. The house was quiet. Just me and the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic on Western Avenue. I opened my laptop. Started reviewing the Pilsen hotel plans. 8 stories. 63 rooms. Built in 1924. Good bones. Needed someone who could see. Past the damage to what it could be. I could see it. Outside, September rain started. Soft. Steady. The kind of rain that settles things. My phone stayed quiet. No messages from Simone. No calls from Marcus. No drama. No noise. Just me and the work and the slow, patient satisfaction of building something real. I pulled up the property assessment documents. Started making notes. Calculating costs. Planning. Some men need witnesses. Need validation. Need someone to see them win. I just needed to know I could restore something broken. Make it solid again. Make it last. I could. I did. And that was enough. 3 months later, I bought the Pilsen Hotel. Paid $1.9 million cash. Started renovations in January. I drive the same truck. Wear the same boots. Pack the same lunch. Nobody notices me. That's exactly how I like it.